So 2021 is easily set to become the biggest year for mainstream cloud gaming, and there's no more evidence of that like in today's news. We finally have the first official set of eyes of cloud gaming services like Stadia and GeForce Now on native apps on LG's TVs, but we could even see more TVs have Stadia as well. I'm going to have some details on that. xCloud is also set to continue to make big waves in 2021, with potentially letting you buy your games and getting Ubisoft Plus. And last but not least, GeForce Now is set to become more transparent on games dropping on their service. All that in this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date on cloud gaming news. Hit that red button if you can. Also hit that like button and notification bell. So we just got official word and an announcement that Stadia and GeForce Now apps are set to be launched alongside LG TVs in 2021, more so in the second half of the year. This is right alongside LG having a new game optimizer setting alongside their new lineup that should enhance your gameplay. Now what's interesting overall is seeing the first announcement of Stadia being on these TVs, while Stadia themselves did mention we should be seeing in the first half of the year support for Chromecast with Google TV. There was also no mention of previous support for older LG TVs, which obviously begs the question, will we see Stadia on just not LG TVs, but older TVs in general? Right now TVs are sitting on Android TV 9, but the new ones launching this year are going to have Android 10, which will feature the new Google TV, which then I would assume we will have the Stadia app as well as other gaming apps like GeForce Now. Keep in mind LG does not actually use Android, but their own LG Web OS. I personally own an LG TV myself, and I got that in early 2020, so it's going to be interesting to see if both of these apps, when it does launch later this year, if they'll be on these older TVs. I'm going to be pretty disappointed to say the least if I don't see it. And we have a lot to pay attention to this year in regards to seeing support on TVs without the purchase of hardware. Because for me, as I've said this in the past, this is one of the biggest ways left for Stadia and even other services like GeForce Now to continue to increase their reach to more gamers, and having pretty much we all own TVs is going to be a vital part of the success of cloud gaming and having these apps integrated into them. So if they don't have support for older models, this is going to be really interesting. Like always, so I'll keep you guys updated with all the news coming in the months ahead. It's been some time since I've gotten to cover some xCloud, and Phil Spencer in that time has pulled no punches with what he wants to see the future of the service to look like, on top of already previously announcing things like xCloud coming to iOS as well as PCs this spring. Phil himself has now been quoted with saying he wants to see the ability for cloud gamers to be able to purchase their games like you do with Stadia. Here is the full quote. "Our long-term aspiration is to make xCloud a great way for new gamers to come into the ecosystem. Now we want to give people the ability to buy. We talked about that. We don't want to make it just about the subscription because we know certain people want to be able to buy their games and still play them via the cloud. So they got that convenience feature of being connected to their library. There's so much opportunity as we're looking at new screens that we can bring xCloud to. It opens up the massive device categories that we don't even really think about today in terms of where these games can show up." Now that ends the quote, but not only is that the plan down the road for xCloud, but there's also now rumors of Xbox looking to bring Ubisoft Plus as part of their library and part of the Xbox Game Pass subscription. That of course is not surprising considering EA Play is already part of the subscription, and acquiring Ubisoft Plus makes a lot of sense, though they mentioned potentially raising the price slightly if you were to pick up the Ubisoft games. Overall, both buying titles and having Ubisoft Plus will continue to raise the immense value that Xbox Game Pass already brings for those who are potentially looking at just the cloud portion of it. But like I always say when I talk about xCloud, and I'm not trying to always be negative when it comes to this service, but it's still easily the worst performing service out of any cloud gaming platform out there. And that's not just for me. This is a pretty universal thought. And I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around the fact that right now you can't even get a hold of an Xbox Series X. So how are they going to be able to upgrade their blades with the new Xboxes when they can't even get them in the hand of general consumers? I will say this. If they can figure this part out, the whole performance side of it, and they incorporate the ability to be able to buy games like you can with Stadia, and then they add Ubisoft Plus on top of the massive library already in place, and then of course with EA Play, and they give, like I said, just good, stable cloud gaming, xCloud will be up there competing to be the top cloud service. But right now there is a lot of ambition and there's a lot of talk from Spencer, and I'm glad that he's not ignoring the cloud gaming portion of their ecosystem, because there's a lot of potential there, which frankly guys is a good thing for all the services combined, because it will force everyone to step up their game. It will be interesting to see in 2021 how xCloud continues to evolve, and when they do upgrade their blades, I will be fully reviewing xCloud yet again, so I am personally very much looking forward to that. Right, and the last piece of news is a quick one, as I haven't had a lot of GeForce Now stuff to talk about, but they have been killing it right alongside with Stadia, with their founders' memberships being sold out, which is pretty crazy. Unfortunately though, if you were a member this past month, you might have even saw a queue, which is pretty bad. But GeForce Now is making some changes going forward, and instead of letting you know on a weekly basis which games are coming, they're going to start doing it a bit earlier and giving you a full month's announcement worth of games. Of course, then more games being sprinkled in randomly throughout the weeks. This looks to just continue to give more transparency, and I think that's a good thing. GeForce Now has really taken off lately, and it's good to see overall. Of course, when very big titles come to the service, I'll be covering those. But alright guys, with that, let me know your thoughts on LG TVs with Stadia and GeForce Now support coming in the second half of the year, and what do you guys think about xCloud's future? Does it have a chance? Like always, if you can subscribe if you're new, hit that notification bell. I'm Sunny, and like always, I'll see you guys in the cloud.